Here's what happened last week. My friend Sarah tells me she can't be friends with anyone who voted for Trump. 2 days later, my neighbor Jim says he's done with people who support Democrats. Both of them are asking me the same question. Is it okay to end a friendship over politics? And I'm thinking, hold on. Let me ask you a different question. What if the problem isn't your friends? What if the problem is politics itself? Let me break this down for you. Everyone's debating whether it's moral to dump friends over their voting choices. That's the wrong question. The right question is, why are we letting a few politicians in Washington control our friendships? Think about what you're really saying when you end a friendship over politics. You're saying that who your friend voted for matters more than 20 years of shared history, how they treated you when you were struggling, whether they showed up when your mom was sick, all those late nights talking through life problems. You're telling me some stranger they voted for trumps all of that? Here's what nobody wants to admit. Your friend didn't change. The political system changed your perception of your friend. Sarah and Jim aren't bad people. They're scared people. They've been convinced that their neighbor's voting choice is an existential threat to their way of life. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If your friend's vote can destroy your friendship, then your friendship wasn't built on freedom. It was built on conformity. Want to know if politics is ruining your relationships? Apply the force versus freedom test. Freedom says, I disagree with your choice, but I respect your right to make it. Force says, if you don't make the choice I approve of, I'm cutting you out of my life. When you end friendships over voting, you're using force. You're saying, think like me or lose me. That's not friendship. That's emotional extortion. But Curt, what about values? I hear this all the time. We can't be friends because we have different values. Really? Let me tell you something about values. If your values include loyalty, kindness, honesty, and compassion, then your friend who votes differently but demonstrates those qualities every day shares your actual values. If your values are, everyone must vote the way I vote, then your values aren't values. They're demands for compliance. When you cut people out for their political choices, here's what you're really doing. You're building an echo chamber. You're surrounding yourself only with people who think exactly like you think. And then guess what happens? You stop growing. You stop learning. You stop questioning your own assumptions. More importantly, you lose the ability to understand half the country. And if you can't understand them, you definitely can't convince them. Let me tell you what I think is really happening. People aren't ending friendships over politics. They're ending friendships over fear. Fear that their friend's vote somehow diminishes them. Fear that association equals endorsement. Fear that if they maintain the friendship, other people will judge them. But here's the thing about fear-based decisions. They're always wrong. Want to know what a freedom-based friendship looks like? I think you're completely wrong about this candidate. I think your vote is going to hurt the country. But I also know you're a good person who cares about your family and community, just like I do. So let's grab coffee and argue about it. That's what adults do. That's what friends do. But what if their politics are really extreme? Now you're asking the right question, and here's my answer. Judge people by their actions, not their votes. If your friend treats people with respect, helps their neighbors, takes care of their family, and conducts themselves with integrity, then their politics are irrelevant to your friendship. If your friend is cruel to service workers, lies to their spouse, or treats people badly based on their race or religion, then yeah, you've got a friend problem. But that's not a political problem. That's a character problem. Here's the only test that matters for friendship. Does this person make my life better? Do I make their life better? Do we bring out the best in each other? If the answer is yes, then their voting record is none of your business. If the answer is no, then ending the friendship has nothing to do with politics and everything to do with compatibility. Here's what this is really all about. This whole ending friendships over politics thing isn't about moral purity. It's about control. It's about using social pressure to force people to think the way you think. And when that doesn't work, you use isolation. That's not how free people behave. That's how dictators behave. I have a challenge for you. If you've ended a friendship over politics, I want you to ask yourself one question. Are you happier now? Are you more at peace? Do you feel more confident in your beliefs? Has your life improved? Or do you miss your friend? Do you find yourself in a smaller, more anxious world where everyone thinks exactly like you? Here's what I want you to do. If you have a friend you cut off over politics, text them right now. Say this: "Hey, I miss our friendship. I don't need you to agree with my politics, and you don't need me to agree with yours. Can we grab coffee and talk about literally anything else?" 9 times out of 10, they will say yes, because they miss you too. The bottom line, politics should never be more important than people. Candidates come and go, policies changed, but real friendships, those are rare and precious. Don't throw them away because you've been manipulated into thinking your friend's vote is a threat to your existence. When free people disagree about politics and stay friends anyway, everybody's happy. Everybody wins. So stop letting politics and politicians control your friendships. Take back that power. Use it to build bridges instead of burning them. Because at the end of the day, you're going to need friends who challenge you, friends who see the world differently, and friends who love you, despite your flaws. Politics can't give you that. Only real friendship can. Want to dive deeper into how freedom creates better relationships and stronger communities? All formats of my book, Everybody's Happy, Everybody Wins, How to Build a Perfect Society, are free at everybody'shappy.com. Not because I don't want the sales, but because these principles are too important to keep behind a paywall. Remember, when we choose friendship over politics, everybody's happy. Everybody wins.